Be me. 25. Gender studies graduate student with focus on queer theory and relationship dynamics. Came out as lesbian 3 years ago after years of unsatisfying relationships with men. Always believed male relationship avoidance came from commitment phobia and emotional immaturity. Posted constantly about how men refuse to grow up and commit to amazing women. They want all the benefits without responsibilities. Scared of strong independent women who won't tolerate their childish behavior. Felt smugly superior about understanding male psychology from feminist perspective. Lesbian relationships would be so much better because women understand emotional intimacy and communication. Tuesday evening, 6 months into first serious lesbian relationship with Emma. Starting to notice concerning patterns that feel familiar but shouldn't exist between two women. Emma constantly criticizes my appearance, career choices and social interactions. Nothing I do meets her standards. Feel like I'm being evaluated constantly instead of loved unconditionally. Think this must be specific to Emma's personality rather than broader pattern. Wednesday. Emma has emotional meltdown because I didn't text her back within 2 hours. Accuses me of not caring about relationship and threatens to break up over minor communication delay. Feel exhausted by intensity of her emotional reactions to normal life situations. Walking on eggshells trying not to trigger next crisis. Thursday. Girls' night with lesbian friends. Share relationship struggles hoping for support and advice. Instead of sympathy, get knowing looks and similar stories. Sarah describes girlfriend who monitors her social media obsessively. Jessica talks about partner who creates drama over imagined slights. Maria's ex threatens suicide during every argument. Realize these patterns aren't unique to Emma or heterosexual relationships. Friday. Research lesbian relationship dynamics and domestic violence statistics. Data is shocking and rarely discussed in LGBTQ spaces. Lesbian relationships have highest rates of domestic violence among all relationship types. Psychological abuse, emotional manipulation, and controlling behavior common patterns. Feel cognitive dissonance between feminist theory about female relationship superiority and lived reality of lesbian dating. Weekend. Reflect on differences between lesbian relationships and friendships with straight women. Female friends are supportive, drama-free, and emotionally stable. But romantic relationships with women involve intense emotional volatility, constant conflict, and exhausting power struggles. Same gender, completely different dynamic when romance enters picture. Monday. Break up with Emma after particularly explosive fight over my choice to have lunch with male colleague. She accused me of emotional cheating and demanded I cut contact with all male friends. Feel relief after ending relationship, but also confusion about why dating women is so much harder than being friends with them. Tuesday. Try dating apps for lesbian connections. Matches lead to conversations that immediately become intense and demanding. Women asking about relationship goals on first message, pushing for exclusive commitment after few dates, creating emotional scenes when I don't respond with sufficient enthusiasm. Dating dynamic feels suffocating and manipulative rather than fun and exploratory. Wednesday. Date woman named Alex who seems more balanced and stable. Conversation flows well until she starts analyzing my body language for signs of disinterest. By end of date, she's convinced I'm rejecting her despite having good time. Creates emotional confrontation in parking lot about my failure to validate her feelings adequately. Drive home feeling emotionally drained and confused about female dating behavior. Thursday. Compare lesbian dating experiences to memories of dating men. Realize men were generally more relaxed, less demanding, and emotionally stable in early relationship stages. Men typically waited longer before discussing exclusivity or future plans. Accepted casual dating without immediately pushing for deep emotional connection. Feel uncomfortable acknowledging that male dating behavior was actually easier to navigate than female intensity. Friday. Research psychological differences between male and female relationship approaches. Study attachment styles, communication patterns, and emotional regulation across genders. Find that women typically seek deeper emotional connection faster and interpret relationship ambiguity as rejection. Men generally comfortable with relationship uncertainty for longer periods. These differences create different challenges depending on gender combination in relationships. Weekend. Attend lesbian social event, hoping to meet more emotionally stable women. Instead, encounter extensive drama, gossip, and social manipulation among friend groups. Women competing over partners, spreading rumors about exes, creating alliance systems against perceived enemies. High school level drama among adult women. Start understanding why some people avoid lesbian community social events. Monday. Try dating women from outside LGBTQ social circles. Professional, educated, seems emotionally mature. 3 dates in, she's already planning our future together and getting upset when I don't share her intensity. Wants to meet my family and discuss moving in together. Feels suffocated by pace of emotional escalation that seems normal to her, but overwhelming to me. Tuesday. Research relationship timeline differences between lesbian couples and heterosexual couples. Find that lesbian relationships typically move much faster toward commitment. U-Haul lesbian stereotype exists because women often merge lives quickly, rather than developing relationship gradually. Fast emotional and practical integration creates intense pressure. This rapid escalation may contribute to relationship instability and conflict, rather than indicating superior female bonding. Wednesday. Have honest conversation with longtime lesbian friend about dating challenges. She admits that women can be incredibly difficult romantic partners despite being great friends. Explains that romantic context activates female competitiveness, insecurity, and control issues that don't appear in friendships. Dating women means dealing with worst aspects of female psychology. Says many lesbians struggle with same issues but don't discuss them openly due to community pressure to celebrate female relationships. Thursday. Join online lesbian dating forums to see if others share similar experiences. Find extensive threads about manipulative partners, emotional abuse, and relationship drama. Women describing girlfriends who isolate them from friends. Monitor their activities, create scenes in public, and use emotional manipulation to control behavior. Realize that problematic relationship patterns cross gender lines and aren't specific to male behavior. Friday. Research evolutionary psychology explanations for female relationship behavior. Study how women compete for partners and maintain relationships across different contexts. Learn that female intrasexual competition often involves emotional manipulation, social exclusion, and reputation damage rather than physical confrontation. These competitive strategies may activate in romantic relationships between women, creating unique challenges not present in heterosexual dating. Weekend. Take break from dating to process experiences and research findings. Spend time with straight male friends who seem genuinely puzzled by lesbian dating struggles. Male friends describe their approach to relationships as much more straightforward. Interested or not interested. Compatible or incompatible. Less emotional analysis and psychological complexity. Start appreciating male relationship simplicity that I previously dismissed as emotional unavailability. Monday. Research male perspectives on female relationship behavior through forums and interviews. Find consistent themes about female emotional intensity and unpredictability. Men describe feeling constantly evaluated, criticized, and emotionally manipulated in relationships with women. Many express preference for casual dating to avoid female relationship drama. These complaints match my lesbian dating experiences almost exactly. Tuesday. Examine my own behavior in lesbian relationships. Realize I've also engaged in emotional manipulation, excessive analysis, and control attempts that I criticized in male-female relationships. Dating women revealed aspects of my own psychology that emerged in romantic contexts, but not in friendships. Competition, insecurity, and control impulses I didn't know I possessed. Female relationship intensity brings out psychological patterns that may be inherent to romantic dynamics, rather than specific to any gender. Wednesday. Research relationship satisfaction across different gender combinations. Study data on gay male couples, lesbian couples, and heterosexual couples. Find that gay male relationships often report higher satisfaction and lower domestic violence rates than lesbian relationships. Male-male combinations appear to avoid some of the emotional volatility common in relationships involving women. feel uncomfortable with implications but can't ignore empirical data about relationship outcomes. Thursday, interview therapists who work with lesbian couples about common issues they observe. Expect to hear about external societal pressures and homophobia. Instead, learn about internal relationship dynamics involving emotional fusion, codependency, and power struggles between female partners. Less about society, more about psychology. Therapists report that lesbian couples often struggle with boundaries, individual identity, and healthy conflict resolution more than gay male or heterosexual couples. Friday, 2 months after serious lesbian dating experiences. Fundamental shift in understanding of gender dynamics and relationship challenges. Dating. Women taught me that many relationship problems I attributed to male behavior actually stem from human psychology activated by romantic contexts. Female. Partners can be just as manipulative, controlling, and emotionally unstable as male partners in romantic relationships. Weekend. Reflect on implications for feminist theory about relationship dynamics and gender roles. If women exhibit problematic romantic behavior with other women, then male-female relationship issues aren't solely male responsibility. Both genders contribute to relationship dysfunction, but in different ways. Women bring emotional intensity and control issues, while men may bring other problematic patterns. Recognizing female relationship flaws doesn't excuse male problems, but does create more balanced understanding of romantic challenges. Monday. Consider returning to dating men with new perspective on gender dynamics. Wonder if heterosexual relationships might actually be easier to navigate than lesbian relationships. Male, emotional distance that I previously criticized might provide healthy balance to female emotional intensity. Different gender approaches could complement rather than conflict. Tuesday, research successful lesbian relationships to understand what makes some work, despite common challenges. Interview long-term lesbian couples about their strategies. Find that successful lesbian relationships involve conscious effort to maintain individual identity and avoid emotional fusion. Partners work actively to prevent female relationship patterns from becoming toxic. These couples recognize female psychological tendencies and develop strategies to counteract them rather than pretending they don't exist. Wednesday. Examine cultural narratives about female relationship superiority. Study how LGBTQ community and feminist theory promote idea that women make better partners. Find extensive ideological investment in believing female relationships are inherently healthier despite empirical evidence of significant challenges. Community pressure prevents honest discussion of lesbian relationship difficulties and female psychological patterns that create problems. Thursday. Research why men might prefer being alone to dealing with female relationship behavior. Study male perspectives on emotional labor, conflict resolution, and relationship maintenance. Men describe female relationships as requiring constant emotional management, conflict navigation, and psychological analysis that many find exhausting rather than fulfilling. Male preference for independence may reflect rational response to emotional complexity rather than commitment phobia or emotional immaturity. Friday, 3 months after intensive lesbian dating experience. Complete revision of understanding about gender, relationships, and male behavior. Dating women taught me why some men choose solitude over romantic partnership. Female relationship intensity can be genuinely overwhelming and emotionally draining. Men aren't necessarily afraid of commitment. They may be avoiding psychological complexity and emotional drama that characterizes many relationships with women. Weekend. Final reflection on how lesbian experiences change perspective on male relationship avoidance. Understanding why men might find female partnership challenging doesn't require misogyny. Women bring specific psychological patterns to romantic relationships that can create genuine difficulties, regardless of partner gender. These aren't flaws but characteristics that require conscious management. Men who choose independence may be making rational decisions about emotional energy expenditure rather than demonstrating personal inadequacy. Monday, 6 months after lesbian dating experiment. Decide to remain single while processing insights about gender dynamics and relationship psychology. Both men and women have challenging aspects as romantic partners. Neither gender holds moral superiority in relationship contexts. My lesbian experiences helped me understand male perspectives on female behavior without requiring rejection of women or feminism. Tuesday. Research relationship success factors across different gender combinations. Find that compatibility, communication skills, and emotional regulation matter more than gender matching. Some lesbian relationships thrive because partners work consciously on psychological patterns. Some fail because they don't address female relationship challenges. Success depends on individual growth and effort rather than gender identity of partners. Wednesday. Share insights about lesbian dating challenges with LGBTQ friends. Mixed reception ranging from recognition to defensive hostility. Some women grateful for honest discussion of issues they've experienced but couldn't discuss openly. Others angry about challenging narratives of female relationship. Superiority. Realize that honest examination of female psychology threatens ideological beliefs just as much as examination of male psychology does. On Thursday. Consider implications for future relationship choices. Open to dating any gender but with realistic expectations about psychological challenges each might bring. Men offer emotional simplicity but may lack intimacy depth. Women offer emotional connection but may create psychological complexity. Both have trade-offs requiring conscious navigation. Friday. Final thoughts on how lesbian experiences illuminated male relationship perspectives. Dating women revealed aspects of female psychology that explain male romantic avoidance. Female emotional intensity, control issues, and relationship drama aren't inherent flaws but characteristics that require management in romantic contexts. Men who prefer solitude may be protecting their psychological well-being rather than avoiding emotional growth. Weekend. Integrate lessons about gender and relationships into broader understanding of human psychology and romantic dynamics. Neither men nor women are inherently superior romantic partners. Both genders bring challenges and benefits to relationships in different ways. My lesbian dating experience taught me empathy for male perspectives on female behavior while maintaining appreciation for female strengths in other contexts. Understanding different gender approaches to relationships creates better foundation for successful partnerships, regardless of gender combination. Maybe the goal isn't finding perfect gender match, but finding compatible individual who works consciously on relationship skills regardless of their gender identity. Maybe my lesbian dating experiment taught me as much about male psychology as female psychology. Maybe empathy across gender lines is more important than gender preference in romantic success.